this episode, V8 Superstars, Gran Turismo for the PSP, Dirt 2, and Top Sim Cars. Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Jessica Lopez. Darren Ganji.
Hey everybody.
Sitting in the Game Racer, getting ready to play some Superstars V8.
Superstars V8.
We got Superstars V8 by Black Bean for all you console game racers out there on the PS3.
Milestone, I think, is the developers too.
You would know more than I would.
Yeah. Black Bean and Milestone. Same
makers of the Superbike 09. Before we get into that, I'd like to mention that we have some changes at our website, which is InsideSimRacing.tv. We got a new forum, and I even have my own section in there, which is called J-Zone.
Getting in the zone.
Get in the zone with J.
J-Zone.
So if you guys have any questions, comments, anything you'd like to ask, go ahead and feel free to visit our website and hop on over to the forum. And back to this Superstars V8. How do you think it compares to the Superbike 09, Darren?
Really similar, actually. It's got the same user interface. Same tracks. I mean, the tracks look almost identical. And same basic general overall feel, I'd say.
All right, well, why don't I go ahead and give the guys out there the specs on the game.
Sounds good.
Superstars V8 Racing is based on an Italian championship that Black Bean Games has signed off on with Superstars International Development. Some of the makes include BMW 550, M5 and M3, the Audi RS4 and Jaguar S-Type, as well as some other cars that look like other V8s that we're all familiar with, but looks like Black Bean didn't acquire the license for those. The track list includes Kyalami, Valencia, Portugal, and a whole bunch of Italian tracks. So Darren's driving the BMW here at Valencia, Spain, and tell us what you think about it.
It's pretty cool. Actually, the layout of Valencia is pretty cool. They did a good job on that, but this title's definitely lacking some stuff. I mean, it's definitely more on the sim side than arcade, and there's no adjustability in the wheel. As you can see, I'm driving it with a wheel, which is cool. I mean, some of these titles are only gamepad, but it's definitely lacking some stuff.
All right, so you feel that it's lacking compared to some of the more recent titles that we've seen.
Definitely.
Would you recommend this game?
As a rental or a bargain bin buy, definitely. Because there's some cool cars in it. The car models in this thing are incredible. So for that and some of these newer tracks that I've never seen, all these Italian tracks, and even these layouts of the tracks, I'd say it'd be worth it for that, for a rental, weekend or week rental.
I know that you and Sean, or yourself, put it through the overall rating score, the new system that we have.
Yep.
And I see, can I ask you what the score was?
59 was my overall.
Ouch.
Which definitely is not, yeah. Like right there, I'm seeing some frame rate issues. It's
so
definitely.
Why did it score so low? I mean, I'm looking at the scores here on the screen, and I see that it only got 5 out of 10 possible on the fun factor.
That was one area. Physics, it only got an 8 out of 15. So,
and
as you can see, as you can see, we'll talk a little bit more about our new weighted rating scale when we do Dirt later on. But yeah, out of a possible 15, like I said, it only got 8 in physics, so it definitely took a hit.
All right, so there you guys got it. The Superstars V8. We're playing it on the PS3, but it is available on all platforms. Next up, Darren's going to put a little piece together. We got Gran Turismo on the PSP. We just downloaded it a few hours ago. So...
pretty cool.
Mini Turismo.
Yeah, Sean said he didn't like it back on E3.
So how was that Gran Turismo, Sean?
Dude, that was stupid. That was a waste of time. I mean, no, actually, for a little mini machine, it was pretty cool. But, I mean, I was hoping to see the real deal.
It is pretty cool. Somebody mentioned that I saw that it's like a version of Gran Turismo 4, which was on the PS2, the older version.
Well, you did put a little piece together.
Yep, I did.
So...
yeah, Sean is admitting to be wrong. He likes it.
Let's take a look at Darren's piece on Gran Turismo by Polyphony.
Gran Turismo for the PSP is touted as the most authentic handheld racing experience, and I would have to agree based on my initial experience with it. It comes with 35 tracks, and you can trade or share more than 800 cars. Some of the tracks include Nordschleife, Le Mans, Infineon, and Laguna Seca. Some have reversed or multiple layout and seem to be very accurately modeled. You can start by going for races in your Pontiac Vibe GT, which is an odd-looking and driving car, to start building credits, or you can jump into the driving challenges, where you can work your way through a class or license system that starts at A and advances all the way to I. You can earn bronze, silver, or gold trophies along the way, as well as credits to go with them. Once you have enough credits from either racing or the challenges, you can then purchase your car from a set of 4 dealerships that seem to rotate every few days based on your career. The driving challenges take place in cars that GT picks for you, and if you check out the challenge videos, you have Jay Leno doing the commentary.
Take on the carousel, the famous corner at Nürburgring.
In the single-player races, they have AI intelligent points that go up as you race more against them. There's also a class system per single-player race at each track that advances as you go. 4 seems to be the max number of AI cars on track, and that's also as many as you can do via multiplayer. There's also 2 other modes in single-player, Time Trial and Drift Trial. You can adjust a single-player race up to 99 laps, and you get more credits depending on how many laps you complete. There also seems to be a slingshot effect in place for the AI, meaning you can't get too far ahead, and they slow for you if you go off or get too far behind. You can race on either tarmac, dirt, or snow depending on your car and track. Drift Trial has 2 modes. One is open, where you can go for the most points possible per sector in a mode called Open Track. It keeps tallying points, except for if you spin or wreck, your points are lost. At the end of your session, your points are then doubled and you are given GT credits. Your top sector points are then added to the all-time list at that track. You can also do a competition drift where you get 4 sectors to go through and you need to score as much as you can per sector. Again, your end points are doubled. Time trials are just to set lap times and actually act as practice at any track. You could also run against a ghost car to help improve your lap times and lines. Multiplayer consists of an ad hoc 4-player environment that I have yet to try, as well as trade and share features. Supposedly you can configure multiplayer races in a number of ways. The options include the ability to adjust basic functions and put a time limit on your races, as well as tweaks to your controls, sounds, multiplayer, and more. The status report function allows you to track your career. Total miles driven, number of cars, victories, challenges completed, and more. The user manual is just that, a very brief outline of how most things work. There were still some things that I needed to figure out on my own. Gran Turismo Theater allows you to watch replays, challenge movies, or the GT intro. Once you pass the first level of challenges, you are also allowed to play your own MP3s while driving. Your controls are also configurable to however you want. You can use the analog or D-pad to drive, and both have their own distinct feel. You need at least a 1 gig memory card to download the game or to install it from the UMD. I'm sure I'm left some things out because for a handheld, it's got a lot of long-term playability. I highly recommend it if you're going on a long-term trip or have lots of time sitting somewhere that you can play it. The graphics are great, sounds are rich. The controls take some getting used to, but once you do, you can slide the cars around pretty good, and the cars seem to have a good physics engine. Gran Turismo will be scored in a future episode of Inside Sim Racing so that we can have more time to evaluate it. Track tips, pit exit etiquette, sponsored by simraceway.com. When exiting pit lane, especially during live points-paying sessions or qualifying, proper pit exit etiquette is good to practice to avoid making enemies right as you start your sim racing career. Exiting safely is only one thing. Exiting at the proper time is another. During practice sessions, it's not as crucial to get the timing exactly right because the only thing at stake is your reputation. But you should still exit courteously so that you don't upset the racing line. Besides looking left or right, you should map functions within the simulation that allows you to have as much visibility as possible. Try to time your exit so that you come out behind drivers that are on a flying lap. During a race session, you should try to time your exit so that you are in front of or behind oncoming traffic. Sometimes that's impossible, and the only thing that you can do is exit as safely as possible and remain as far off the racing line as possible until you are clear. I'm Darren Ganji, and that's my track tip, sponsored by simraceway.com.
Welcome back to the show, guys. I got Sean here on the set with me playing a little Dirt 2.
The sequel to, of all things, Dirt 1.
Right. And before we get into that, I'm listening to this G27 here and how much noise it's making. A lot of people ask
It makes a little bit of a rumble.
how much noise it makes, so there's your answer.
It makes a ton of racket. What are you talking about?
This is a noisy wheel. It feels great, but it's noisy. But we are here for Dirt. I don't know if the name implies, but this is all about off-road racing. See, I'm kind of in a rally stage here.
getting passed, which is
That thing sounds like a car that's got bad gas.
a little knock and ping.
Yeah.
And it's available on all platforms, correct?
It is right now available on all console platforms, so the PlayStation, the Xbox, and the Wii even, which is pretty cool, and will be available in December for the
PC.
PC, that's it, thank you.
And it's by Codemasters, who are the same makers of
Grid, which...
one of your favorite games.
Yeah, I kind of try to keep it a little bit of a secret, but yeah, it's one of my favorite games. Grid was a game all about fun factor, all sorts of things that draw you into it. And this game, much like Grid, they took a lot of those features, brought it over to Dirt, and it definitely paid off.
In this game, players will get to experience 7 different types of off-road racing, including rallying all the way to Baja style. You will see many different vehicles, each with distinct driving qualities and setup abilities. When it comes to racing, Dirt 2 will have you traveling the world and racing in different types of terrain, racing in jungles, deserts, in stadiums, running through the woods, and straight through rivers. The racing follows and has the energy of an X Games event, including putting you on the world tour against some of the biggest names in off-road racing. You will race against Travis Pastrana, Ken Brock, Dave Mirra, and more. Each car is customizable with car skins, dash ornaments, and the ability to trick them out. Has amazing graphics, killer sounds.
And the physics are actually by Codemasters' own Ego physics engine, which is really cool.
That's right.
And this is our new scoring system. We learned a lot from our top 50 sim cars, our top sim cars of all time, and we've adjusted the scale to have a little more weight between different features.
All right, well, let's take a look at this Dirt 2.
We're gonna hammer on it. So now you've heard all the details about Dirt 2, and now we're gonna go ahead and score it. But before we get to that, we have completely changed our scoring system.
Big time, yeah. People had mentioned that we should do a weighted, especially after we did the Gran Turismo 5 versus Forza 2, Gran Turismo Prologue, excuse me. Since we did that shootout, people said that we should have done a weighted and on our hardware, and we're gonna weight that a little bit too. But so we decided to do a weighted scoring system now.
And we also want to change the whole thing so it totaled 100 points, make it really easy to keep track of things as well.
Yep, 12 categories.
So with that changes, we now have physics at 15. It's the most important category.
Yep.
And then we've got graphics, sounds, tracks, and vehicles, and fun factor all at 10 points.
Force feedback realism is all at 10 points as well. AI, multiplayer, damage, presentation, and cost are all 5 points each.
So I hope that makes it easier for all of you out there. Now let's go ahead and fire up Dirt 2 and put it through the scale, starting with physics. And you know, coming from Dirt 1 and from Grid, they've made huge improvements to the physics in Dirt 2. There's no more pendulum effect when driving. It's an off-road game. You can feel the traction when you're driving.
Force feedback has gotten a lot better.
Absolutely. You can feel it in the wheel and the pedal. You can actually throttle steer the game, which goes into physics. When you jump through the air, if you land sideways even the slightest bit, you feel it in the physics because the car kicks the way you'd expect it to. A lot of big changes in the physics category.
Different cars have different physics.
Yeah, definitely. There is limited setup options, so there are things that take it down in physics. It's not ultra realistic. So for physics, I got a 10 out of 15. That brings up graphics. Graphics is what Dirt 2 is all about. I mean, great smoke effects, great dirt effects, great water on the windshield effects. I wish we had that right here. I'll show you.
Oh, yeah, we can show them.
You've got car models that are very distinct and clear. Ultimately, this is some of the best graphics out there.
No doubt about it. Yeah, the way that the windshield cracks when you get in an accident.
Even the mirror cracks.
Yeah, one of the things I love too about the graphics is the depth. The depth of field is just amazing. I mean, and sense of speed.
Speed sensation.
Whoa!
Or lack of speed.
That's one thing I don't like. You just do the reset thing. Oh, you reset, but you actually are done.
So for graphics, 9.5 out of 10, incredible score. And that takes us to sounds.
Crank it up here.
Crank it up a notch. Ultimately, Dirt 2 has some very high quality sounds. I wouldn't say that the cars are super authentic, but the dirt sound, the squealing sounds, the engine noise are all very, very good.
I love her voice.
Yeah, you gotta love her voice.
Whoa!
Comparing it to Grid, yeah, groaning there.
She's screaming.
Comparing it to Grid, there aren't some of the menu sounds that it had in Grid, but ultimately a very good sound package, and that gives it an 8 out of 10.
Keep mid over crest. Easy left into, easy right. Easy left into crest.
And that takes us to tracks. Dirt 2 has a ton of tracks. As you can see, they are spectacular. You have multiple different terrains. You've got stadium courses, jungle courses, desert courses, canyon courses.
Hey, yeah, everybody, hold on. Let me calm you down here really quick. If he sounds like this is an infomercial, it's not. This dude is so high on this game, it's not even funny. Sean will not stop talking about Dirt 2. I mean, this is like Sean's new favorite game. So,
Absolutely.
Dude, you need to chill out a little bit.
All right,
okay?
I gotta tone it down.
He
just
loves
a
it,
notch.
everybody. He loves this game. I do too, though. This thing's awesome.
The downside is, despite the quality of the tracks, there's no real life tracks. So I mean,
That is one of the bummers. But you know what? Who cares?
and they are amazing.
The bumps, I mean, just the way, like I was mentioning too, with the sense of speed and just how everything is just rolling past you is just amazing.
And so that gives it an 8.5 out of 10. And that takes us to car models. You got a lot of cars to choose from. You got rally cars, you've got trucks, you've got some really good detail in the cars. However, they're all kind of fantasy-ish, so I'd love to see a real authentic trophy truck and dune buggy and things. They are a little fake.
Yeah, the rally cars are pretty realistic.
Yeah, that one definitely looks more real than some of the other ones. I mean, they're all very, very good. They just, they're missing that perfection thing, that real life thing.
Like V8 Superstars we were talking about earlier in the show. Great car models. That was one of the only, hate to say it, one of the only strengths of that game, but really beautiful car models in that game.
Yeah.
Realistic. Whoa.
So we're talking 8 out of 10. Very good car models. And that takes us to fun factor.
Oh yeah, lots of fun. Look at Sean's smile.
I can't remove the smile. Like Dirt, like Grid, this Codemasters title, Dirt 2, is all about fun. You hear the lady taunting you on. You've got a great career path. You've got bonuses. You've got the cool little winning things like dice on the mirror, the hula girl on the dashboard. You win those kind of prizes. You win car paints and other things. There are a lot of things that keep this game really fun, and then you get to the driving. Crazy crashes, good replays. Fun factor is what it's all about, 9 out of 10. And that takes us to force feedback. I'm not sure if it's the improved physics or the improved force feedback, but the feel in the game is surprisingly good. Honestly, when I picked up Dirt, I expected it to feel like a game. It drives more like a sim than a game, and the force feedback is a lot of where that is felt.
Yeah, it's got great force feedback. This thing, it sure makes the G27 chatter like we had mentioned before, but...
Yeah, it's definitely the noisiest game on the G27.
Yeah, great feel though. Man, I tore that car up. Look at that.
But again, the force feedback, you can feel the car going loose and you can counter steer against it. You feel the nudges. That's all in the force feedback. So for force feedback, that's an 8 out of 10. And that takes us to AI. Grid has a great career mode, and in that comes some great racing. You're going against Travis Pastrana, Dave Mirra, Tanner Faust.
I hate to say it, but one of the things I don't like about this game is constantly hearing these dudes' voices, and they kind of say the same things over. I like the girl's voice.
The coach.
Sean set up his name is McLovin. Sean's McLovin.
I am McLovin.
Hey McLovin, this is Utah. It's gonna be amazing.
They do race you pretty hard, they will bump you, and they race each other hard. This game is really good in AI, and therefore it gets a 4 out of 5. And that takes us to multiplayer. We're doing on the PS3, we're limited to 8 players. This game is limited to 8 players, and that is such a shame. I can't even imagine how cool it would be doing a big field of trophy trucks or these rally events with a lot of people. Limited to 8 people with the type of hookups of the console-type games. It's really a shame. I'd like to see more in that area.
And it seemed like it was pretty sparse as far as players went. We were, pretty early time here on the West Coast in America.
Yeah, when you think of how many copies of the title have been sold, you'd expect a bigger crowd.
I love this track.
And for that reason, it only gets a 2.5 out of 5 for multiplayer. And that takes us to damage. This has some of the best visual damage. Some of the other best visual damage would be from Grid. You've got parts flying off of the cars, other opponents' parts on the ground that you run over. We did a 360 wreck into the lake and just watched it over and over and over because the damage visually is so cool. However, it kind of ends there. There's no
one thing, hold on, Sean, I wanted to go back a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Did we talk about frame rates?
No, we didn't talk about
frame rates in this game is incredible. I mean, you got so much stuff going on. Going through, look at this town I'm going through here. It's just craziness.
Have not seen a glitch yet.
Nope, solid frame rates all the way through.
And that's in a game that has incredible graphics. So, I mean, great graphics and great frame rates. Since we're talking about rates, too, this game has really fast load times. This is sort of nothing that really fits into our thing, maybe presentation, but this game for a console, for a PlayStation, loads very quickly, and I like that. I get tired waiting through screens and things, so I guess it's time to get back on track, and that's to damage. We are in the middle of damage, so physical damage
Ken Block just passed me.
does not match
See if I can pass
the
Ken
visual
back here.
damage. If you hit a wall, it's not going to knock the camber out of the wheel. You're not going to break gears. However, if you really kill the car, they'll end the race for you and say you've killed the car. So for damage, it actually only gets a 3.5 out of 5, even though it's so good visually.
Yep, needed some work physically.
And that takes us to presentation and ease of use. This is something that I think Codemasters has really mastered. I mean, when I look at Grid and Dirt, very fun menus. And when you're going through that career and picking where, there's lots of options. It's very clear. And picking your controls, and it supported the 5-speed from the G27. You
No
gotta
clutch,
love
though.
that.
Clutch
Nope.
seemed to work as a brake.
And you could map.
Guess we could map it. Maybe we haven't tried mapping the clutch or something else.
No, and it was really easy on the mapping. So, you know, when we're talking presentation, really easy to use. And then also, the presentation is how much fun you're having through those menus. I mean, there's a lot to do when you're not driving and picking cars and where you're going to go and all of that. So for presentation, it scores a 4.5 out of 5. And that takes us to cost. Okay, if you've listened to this review, if you like dirt racing, the amount of content, the quality of the sim, it gets a 5 out of 5. It just doesn't get better for the money.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's worth it.
It
It's worth
is.
a buy. You don't even rent it. Buy it.
Buy it. You'll really love it. If you're looking for the most hardcore sim, this is not it. I wouldn't give it that same score.
Now, in the PC, it's going to be available, I think, later this year.
That'll be very nice. I wonder if they'll allow more people in multiplayer. Seems like
be
they could.
interesting.
It would be
Yeah.
really awesome if they could. So that gives Dirt 2 an overall score of 80.5. And I don't know if you can hear it in my enthusiasm for the game, but this is a lot of fun. I've had a blast testing it. I'm going to be spending a lot more time playing it. It's hard to remove the smile from my face when I do.
Yeah, I honestly didn't get as much time as Sean did on it, mainly because Sean was fiending on it.
Hogging it.
But it is incredible. The more I play it, the more I like it. Definitely recommend it. Highly recommend it. Not for the multiplayer as much, but definitely for the just for the offline just fun factor. Just, you know, do what you want racing.
Do what you want. We're playing on the PS3. It is available on all the consoles right now. It'll be coming in December, I believe, for the PC.
Yep.
And-
It's even out on the Wii.
Yeah, and so definitely try it out for yourself. This has been Dirt 2 by Codemasters.
See you guys later. All right, welcome to our third installment of Top Simulation Cars of All Time, sponsored by SimRaceway.com.
And you all know the rules out there. Go to our website, download it, see it. Want to get right to it?
Yep, let's just get right to it.
Got our new timer.
Yep, this one will give us a beep, so let's just hit it, dude.
We're on it.
First up, SK Modified by iRacing.com. And
Oval Racer.
yes, one of my favorite, probably, stock cars, probably in all of sim racing. Got two of my favorite stock cars
Yeah.
on this show today.
I like the unique factor too. It's kind of different from what I'm accustomed to from years of sim racing, and I like that too. That was kind of a novelty factor.
Yep, cool sound effects. Physics, let's talk about the physics real quick. 17 and a half it
One of
scored.
the best cars in iRacing, one of the best cars ever that we've scored.
And force feedback effects, force feedback realism, 9
Yeah.
3/4 it scored.
Which, that is as good as it gets. I mean,
Yeah.
as far as in today's technology, I'm not
Yeah.
saying it won't ever be better.
Between the tracks, the physics, everything about this, it's just,
You feel it all. Coming
You
out
do.
of the corner, the car kicks, and that's the way you drive one of these suckers too, and that's what I love too. You are sideways.
it's got a great the damage model on this thing, you just touch the wall and you get some toe out. But great car overall. Overall score, might as well just give it a score right now, because
Yeah.
I'm sure we're getting close on time.
86.
86, which puts it right behind the Abarth now.
Oh!
So Abarth's, I believe, was at 86 and a half, so
That list is starting to get tight.
it is.
You know, one other thing, you know, the model, the shocks.
Interior model, too.
Yeah, you can see the shocks moving, the coils over the canister, or this. Oh, there we go. That's the end.
All right, so there it is, iRacing.com, SK Modified, 86 overall. Next up, we have the Ferrari GP79 from R Factor by GP Classics.
Another one of our favorites. So let's change that and get to it.
All right, let's do it. All right, did a little switcheroo. Now we have, look at that, going off course. Man, we're not starting good
See
here.
some damage
Look at
right off the
major
bat.
damage.
Oh, on the clock.
Already on the clock? GP79, R Factor.
And since you're looking at, look at this interior. The wheel, I mean, that is like right out of the old school movies, looking at the interior of those old GP
We
cars.
just saw this car a few weeks back, a couple
Yeah.
months back at Infineon, and the model is incredibly close. The paint job, I mean, we gave skins a pretty high mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually got a 3.5 overall. But this car is just incredibly modeled and very accurate. Got great physics score, 17 in physics.
For R Factor, that's outstanding. Also, the sounds were incredible. I mean, Ferrari's one of those cars that has an exhaust note that can't be mistaken. They nailed it.
Now, one thing I'm going to mention. Same year car against the iRacing Lotus.
Very interesting battle.
This one has now, it's now beat it out. And one of the main reasons we just mentioned was sounds.
Yeah. And in the older cars especially, where each car was so distinct, I think sounds are even more critical. So that's probably why the iRacing Lotus just couldn't compete with this one on that level.
Yeah, and iRacing Lotus is a great car, but this one just definitely tops a little bit. I mean, you can just see like the ducts coming in there. I mean, it is just an amazing model.
Yeah, and it did well in fun factor. It did well in sounds. It did well in
force feedback. 8.5 with real feel. It definitely feels really good. Fun factor, 9.25.
Yeah, and this is one of the ones. I mean, I know this is our opinion, but this is one of those cars that is very well regarded in the entire community. Always on the top 10 list or in the Hall of Fame or whatever you want to say.
There we go.
We are out of time, so that's it for GP79.
Overall score. Well, got to give it an overall score, 84.8.
Almost an 85. Right up there. That top group is really tightening up.
It is.
I said that already, but
speaking of which, that top group, next car,
Arca,
the Twisted Sister car.
Sister. This is
John didn't know what that
meant.
Yeah, that's the car before the COT is known as the Twisted Sister car. So
we'll fire that one up now.
Let's go.
Timer going, minute and a half.
Here we go. Twisted Sister car by the Sim Factory, Arca Sim Racing.
Arca.
08.
This car for me, I spent so many years running NASCAR. And the oval sims, the NASCAR style stock car is what I'm so accustomed to in sim racing. I mean, I did a lot of open wheel stuff as well, but this was like refreshing because it was just what I'd always known, and it was such a beautiful rendition of the stock car.
They did a great job on this model. I think Nick Steelman did a lot of the work on this model, and he did a great job. I mean, from the interior padding, the little mirror, I mean, just every little detail that
even
they
when
put
you turn
into this thing.
your head, that new deflector, I don't know what they call it, but it's like in your way. I mean, everything those guys deal with, the roll bars and the mirror.
Sounds
are incredible.
Yeah, some of the best sounds in sim racing are coming out of this Arca car. I mean, this thing just, especially with a butt kicker, man, this thing shakes the whole room.
I think this might be the record for the butt kicker car.
What do we give it in sounds? 13 and a half?
13 and a half out of 15.
Physics. Now, I gave it an 18, Sean gave it a 17.
Yeah.
Or Sean gave it a 16. We gave it a 17 overall.
Right.
I think they did a great job on the physics on this car. If they if these guys had some laser scan tracks,
it'd be amazing. We've always said that since the day we fired one of these up.
I think that would be the ultimate sim. I mean, they would give iRacing a run for their money as far as stock car goes.
Yeah,
if they had the
definitely.
tracks, I mean, that's, I think, the only thing they're lacking right now.
Yeah,
but
they are beautiful tracks. They're just not the
we're out of time.
That's it. What was the overall score?
85, which puts it third on the overall master list, which, by the way, is starting to really shape up here.
Yeah. You want to go through the top three?
Let's do it. Let's go through the top. Let's go through the top 5 since we talked about all those cars today.
There you
We're
go.
just going to leave right there. DMP is going to get some props here.
Top on the list is the Abarth.
Yep, Netcar Pro with an 86.5. SK Modified, we just mentioned by iRacing, is a close second, 86.
And right behind that is the Arca Twisted Sister car with an 85.
Ferrari GP79, we just mentioned, 84.8.
Oh, right there.
And the Lotus, pretty big gap there, 81.5.
Still in the 80s.
Yep. All right, so that's going to do it for round 3 of Top Simulation Cars of All Time, sponsored by SimRaceway.com.
And, you know, we're getting a lot of people pouring in votes now. We're going to keep bringing it to you. We've got more cars coming at you next show.
Definitely. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Until then.
All right, always a pleasure. Pretty much ending the show, wrapping it up. Next episode, we do have this coming for you, Need for Speed Shift. I know a lot of you guys were asking for that out there.
Every day we get emails about that one. And then we also have Supercar Challenge coming to you from System 3. They're the makers of Ferrari Challenge. A lot more cars in this one. And speaking of a lot more, it's now going to support the Ferrari 430 wheel with
Big
the
news there.
PlayStation, which is pretty huge news. And in addition to that, with the PlayStation, we teased Gran Turismo. You know, we were awfully impressed with that. We're going to go ahead and give you a lot more detail about that one coming up in the next show as well.
For someone that wasn't really impressed at E3.
It just didn't seem like much. We were so overwhelmed. But, you know, for a little...
You wanted Gran Turismo 5, the big one.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it. That's going to wrap it up. For Sean Cole, Jessica Lopez, Darren Ganji.
See you later.
Checkered flag is out, and so are we.
Promotional consideration provided by GameRacerUSA.com.